What's up, everybody? How's it going? Alex here. Today, we're going to take a look at something really cool. We're going to build a chat bot within Airtable that actually reads our PDFs or any kind of attachments in PDF form, of course. And we can ask it questions. We can have a conversation with it. It takes care of context. It's really cool. So let's go ahead and take a look at how this whole thing works. In our typical fashion, we're going to take a look at how this whole thing works. Then we're going to see how we can set up the automation using make.com. And yeah, finally, we'll do maybe one final run to see how it all comes together. Let's do this. All right. So first of all, let's take a look at how the whole thing works. It's actually pretty easy to see how to deal with this. Right now we have a buffer, we have a pitch deck for the company buffer. This is a very old one from 20, really old one. You can find it online. And yeah, let's ask it some basic questions. So who are the founders of this company based on this? Ask a question. And shortly after, we should get our answer. Wait a little bit. There you go. So, Joel and Leo. Cool. When did they first launch their app or service? Question. They launched in January 2011. Okay. If today is 2023, how long ago was this? How long ago was this? Yeah, sure. So see here, I'm actually checking to see if it can understand context, because I was talking to it about launching, about when it was launched. Excellent. You can see how it understands contexts. And here it would be 12 years ago. Great. How much is that in days? It should again take that whole statement and provide us with the answer, which is correct. So 12 years is 4,380 days. Now, so in our typical fashion, let's go ahead and now take a look at how we've created the database, what the structure is, so that we can have more context ahead of checking out the automation stuff. Let's do it. Okay, so let's take a look at the structure of this database. I'm gonna unhide all my fields. In fact, first and foremost, I think I'm gonna duplicate this view so that we can jump back quite easily. So I'm gonna show all my fields. Okay, so in terms of the documents table, it's really quite straightforward. We have name field, which is just text. We have our PDF attachment, where I throw my PDFs in. We have an OCR check field, again, just simple text. We have a ChatPDF ID field, again, just simple text. We have our question. We have a checkbox field called Ask Question, very straightforward. We have our lookup field for answers, which is set up to look at the chat records linked field, bring up the answer field, and only when latest chat has the value of latest from within chat records. Then we have a link to chat records, which is right here, right? And it's allowing the linking to multiple records. Next, we have a latest answer timestamp, which essentially brings the max created on value. In other words, the biggest, the most latest created on value from chat records. We're going to take a look at the structure in a sec. Then we have doc record ID, which is just a formulated field that contains the record ID from each record. And then we also have a clear chat history checkbox, which is just stylized with an X. Now, let's take a look at chat records. Again, this should be straightforward. So here we have our leftmost field, which is formulated. in this way where I'm just basically taking the answer, taking the first 33 characters and then just adding a ... space pipe space so that it actually looks like so, as you can see. And then I'm just stylizing the created on with hour, minute, and AM, PM. So it just looks like that. Then we have a link back to the documents. Obviously, this gets created automatically for us. Then I'm doing a lookup of all the record ID from that doc. Very straightforward. Then I'm also doing a lookup of the latest answer from the doc. Then I have a formula, a simple if statement essentially, that compares the latest answer from the timestamp compared to created on. If that is the same, then the record receives the latest tag. It means that this is the latest chat that we have with the system. Alternatively, basically it prints nothing. So that's why you will always have a latest question answer pair with a particular document. And then we just have a created on. That's it in terms of database design. There's not much to this. So yeah, let's take a look at how I've set up this automation. It's not really difficult. We've done much worse on this channel. So let's go and take a look. Okay, welcome back. So let's take a look at how this automation is set up. First and foremost, we got to check out the trigger. Automations ask a question. So the trigger is when a record matches conditions, i.e. when ask a question is thumbs up, then run a script. We've taken a look at this script a bunch of times before, so this is exactly the same, just like last time, just like all the times before. We're triggering it based on this quick little script. The record ID is the Airtable record ID that we get from the previous step, and that is how the information lands in make.com. Now from here, it's a very simple concept. All we really have is just two sections of work. So the first time a PDF comes along, we only take this top path. Once the trigger comes up from here, we just basically go through this little quick process where we are OCRing the document in these two modules. We update our document with the ChatPDF source ID, and then we go ahead and actually process the question and get the response and push it back to Airtable. That happens only the first time. Now, for every subsequent run, our automation will simply take this path where it will take the last set of chats. If there aren't any, it will simply create a simple completion. It will take this route down here. If there are some, because ChatPDF has got limits, and that limit is up to 10 context messages, it will take this top route. It will bring us the latest messages and create the completion. Let's take a look at how I've set this up. Obviously, these are my triggers. This is my webhook. Then I'm getting my record from my table. Apologies that it says companies. It actually should say documents, but it doesn't really matter. Then we have our two routes. So let's explore this first route. The no chat PDF ID, basically OCR check does not exist from module 98. Then we have a convert API module where we're basically giving the file URL over here, and we're just basically OCRing that file. Not every single time will you get a file that has been pre-OCR'd, like in this example, this file was not OCR'd. We need to make sure that it is. So that is why we have that there. Then we actually perform a quick call to ChatPDF where we do a post. We have to include our key here. As you can see, I've included mine. And then in the request content, we just have this very small little JSON string where we're basically giving the URL of the parsed document back into. So right here, we just have a small little JSON body structure where we're basically giving the URL to ChatPDF so that it can process it. Next, all I'm doing is I'm updating the doc with the OCR check being just a date, and the ChatPDF ID, I'm just mapping the source back into Airtable, the source ID that is given to me by ChatPDF. Next, I'm creating a record. I'm creating a quick completion record in the chat records where I'm mapping the doc from module 154, somewhere down here. Actually, my bad, 154 is right there. And the question that I had from my original module down there, 98, and the answer is just hard-coded. Let me check that for you. Next, we're just building some suspense. There's a bit of delay, just 4 seconds. And finally, I'm creating a completion. Finally, I'm asking that question. Again, just a post, and my JSON content now looks like this, where I'm mentioning the source ID that I fetched previously, and the role is user, and the content is the question. Very straightforward. Finally, I'm updating the chat record that I created earlier from 155 with the answer that I get from ChatPDF. So just map it from here, basically. And then finally, I'm updating the record of documents by just saying that ask question is now no. And that is that first initial run of a document when it has never been processed before, and it needs to go through this step of being OCR'd and added to ChatPDF. Now, the second part is when we already have added it to ChatPDF, so our OCR check exists, right? The next step is super easy. I'm actually searching through my chat records, but not just searching willy-nilly. I want to make sure that my records are sorted by the created on time in descending fashion. So from newest to oldest, right? And my formula is very, very simple. Doc record ID, as it would have been in chat records, is equal to a document that triggered the whole thing. That then ends in an aggregator where I'm aggregating the ID and the created time. Very important that you do that. There's absolutely nothing else that I'm aggregating here, just these two fields. Next, I have a router, and the two choices that I have here are, again, super straightforward. In one case where the first ID of that array exists, and you can map that super easily just by doing it like that. Basically, that means, in simple terms, that take this route only if you have had a previous chat, if this is a context question, right? You're building context here. In this case, I'm saying the opposite, that basically, you know what, based on this array that you've created, there are literally no IDs. In other words, you've probably just cleared the chat of all previous conversations, and you're basically starting a brand new chat. In this direction, all we really need to do is just create an iterator where you're sorting this array 176, this one, by the created time. How did I know that I need to spell it like that? Very easy. Just open this up, highlight this, just put your mouse on top of it, and you see where it says raw. created time, that is literally what how you need to type this out. But you see, created time has got a space, but the reality is that if you want to sort your array based on a field, that's how you have to do it. You have to actually take the raw name of that field and sort it like so. So what this does, it basically sorts that array based on the created time. And then we're getting that record, and finally the answer should exist here. So we're adding this filter over there, and here we're creating a text aggregator. Essentially what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to build context. I'm trying to build the messages for context before I actually post my question. And this is how I've structured my text aggregation. It's basically JSON. So yeah, just like so. And I've also mapped my question and for my user and my answer for my assistant, because I'm basically compiling that. Once that's finished, we go ahead and create another post, which is exactly the same like before. All I'm doing is just adding this text, putting a comma, and then it's exactly the same like before. I'm just posting my next question, only that here now I have all my previous context, so that this question could relate back to all of that stuff. And yeah, again, I'm just creating another record in my chat records, right? Where I'm mapping the document, I'm mapping the question from that document, and I'm adding the content from 171, just mapping it. Finally, update that document with ask question no. Now, the final leg, this one where this is a brand new chat, as I was explaining earlier, it's again super straightforward. I'm just basically creating a simple completion, a simple post. There is no context, as we've already figured this out. I'm creating that record again in chat records, just like I did previously. Everything's exactly the same. So my document is from module 98. My question is from module 98. My answer is from the make request. From the HTTP request in module 181. Now here, then I have a update. Again, all this does is just to mark the ask question as no. So now let's go ahead and test this out. Let's go ahead and just clear all the previous chat records from this. And I'm just gonna go ahead and ask this question again while the system is running. So because it's the first time, and we've already done OCR in this document, it's going to skip this top path, and it will go down this first route where it will not find any previous context, and it will flow down this path, which is just a basic question. So there we go, and let's have a look. Perfect. And the answer is awesome. Let's take a look at the next case. Let's run this again, and now we're going to ask it again, when did they launch their first web app? Perfect. Let's see how this goes. And you see now this time it took this first path where it looks for now. Let's ask them about what is the business model. Let's see how that works. The business model is a freemium model. Awesome. Very nice. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.